What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Beyond the Bench podcast. It is the first week of the NFL season. It was a great fantasy. Well, it was great for some people, not for us.
Not for us.
We had some heartbreaking losses.
But we are excited that football is finally back. Welcome back, everybody. We're excited to be back for a very new and potentially winning season.
Hopefully, not off
Hopefully,
to a good start, are we?
not off to a good start. For context, we're both 0-1.
I lost on a DJ Moore lateral fumble loss, and Nick here lost on the DeAndre Swift where they didn't run it on the 1 yard line. So we both had some heartbreaks. We both
Heartbreakers
lost.
in Monday Night Football, but that's just how it goes.
Both lost by 1 point.
At one point, I'd rather have this loss happen though in the first game than when playoffs come
That's
around. So we're
exactly.
we're 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 rolling with the punches for now.
It's only up from here.
Only up from here. But anyway, let's get into it. What do you want to start with? Waiver wire?
Yeah, let's talk about the waiver wire. I feel like this week was a good waiver wire week if you need a wide receiver.
If you need a wide receiver, I was going to say a lot of people are saying that this is a very dull waiver wire week. But if you actually look into the stats, there are actually a lot of good across the board, good players that could potentially be a Puka or Kyron type pick.
I agree. And I want to get the one running back that I do have on my list out of the way because I think he's rostered in a lot of leagues, so he's not necessarily a waiver wire pickup, but if you can get him from the waivers, I get him, and that's Dylan Sampson. Uh, I was very high on him before the season started. I had him and Jerome Ford before the season
Christian
started.
saw the vision.
So, well, I watched him play I'm a Tennessee fan. I watched him play at Tennessee. I knew his potential, and I got both of them. They're both on my bench. I started. No, I didn't. I did not start. I almost started Jerome Ford. I almost
almost,
started Jerome
almost,
Ford,
almost, almost.
but I started Debo, and whether unfortunately or fortunately, it was a good idea. But Dylan Sampson looks like he's going to be the lead back in Cleveland, at least for now, until they can get Judkins situated, which I don't think will be for at least a couple more weeks. So take advantage of it while you can.
I think he is a prime sell high candidate. If you want to try to get him in a trade package in a trade a week or
I
two
agree.
before Judkins comes back, because he missed what, all of training camp.
All of training camp,
So
yes.
for running backs, I feel like running backs need to be at training camp more than any other position. I feel so,
Especially if you're on the Browns.
especially if you're on the Browns, because God help those players. But no, Dylan Sampson, very very good pickup. I actually have another running back, which
Do you?
again
Okay.
is again rostered in a lot of leagues. But if you can get him, I think he's a good stash. I'm gonna butcher this name, but Bashul Tutin.
By Shaw Tootin.
Okay,
Yes, I
thank you.
agree.
Yes, butchered the name. I said it. Uh, he is after the Tank Bigsby trade, going to the Eagles. He is the wide receiver 2, I believe, behind.
Running back too. Running back too.
Sorry, running back 2. Yes,
There you
running
go.
back 2 behind ETN, and
Who looked phenomenal,
who
by the
looked
way.
phenomenal. But if I feel bad for ETN because he's been given the short end of the stick a lot of times in the running back room, and I do think the Jaguars are one of these teams that if he fumbles once, they're putting
They will
Tutin
f-
in.
they will
So
flip on the dime.
yeah, they will flip on the dime. So he's a good stash. I think as the season progresses, I do think that the backfield is going to change into a 1A 1B scenario. Um,
I agree. So my first wide receiver I have on this list is someone who I actually just picked up this morning, Calvin Austin.
okay, I
So
do not have him on my list.
he had an amazing week this week. I believe he had about 18 points. Let me just double check here. But Aaron Rodgers is has always been with notorious for using his wide receiver two to his advantage. And with DK Metcalf in Pittsburgh, Calvin Austin still ended up with 6 targets and a touchdown. A great touchdown too. But yeah,
A very impressive touchdown.
Calvin Austin, 4 receptions, 6 targets, 70 yards and a touchdown. He looked great this week. I actually don't think DK Metcalf looked that good,
He
if we're being
didn't.
honest.
He didn't. And I
Um,
think Rodgers kind of figured that as the game progressed, and he was just giving the ball to Austin every single time.
yeah, so Metcalf had 7 targets, Austin had 6, so
Yeah,
that's even,
pretty much even.
yeah. So,
And I think a
and
lot of those targets were early game
yes,
for
they were.
Metcalf.
Yes, they were. And Aaron Rodgers is also very good at switching when he needs to. So if he notices DK not having a good game, he can switch to Calvin Austin. I think he's a good player to have if you need, let's say you have someone on bye and you need a flex. I think Calvin Austin, his projections might not show it, but I think
He
he's a
can
good guy to
produce.
start.
He can
Yes.
produce. So the next guy on my list is Quentin Johnson.
Hmm.
I have a very specific reason for picking him up. A lot of people
Okay.
turn off. A lot of people turn off football game right when the clock goes out. I like to stay so I can get the post game conferences. I like to say with the interviews.
Okay.
In his post game interview,
I did. I saw this.
he specifically said that Quentin Johnson is going to have one hell of a year. Nobody else knows this. Nobody else. I didn't see online anybody was talking about this. When a quarterback says that about his wide receiver, he is going to get targets. He is going to get targets. Quentin Johnson didn't lead the team in targets. He only had 7. I think Ladd had 8 or 9.
Lad always has a lot of
Yeah,
targets.
so he's a slot receiver, so he's going to get those targets. But I think this is the breakout year for Quentin Johnson, finally, to be
I hope so.
a every week roster spot because he is a huge physique. He is going to be that playmaker that the Chargers need to win big games. Ladd's going to sit in the slot. He's going to get yak yards after catch. He's going to get a lot of receptions, some touchdowns. But Quentin Johnson is going to be that guy that Justin Herbert is going to look to throw to when they're down.
Yep. I agree. And
So
we saw that in the game
we
against
saw
the
that
Chiefs.
exactly. We saw that, and just another. He's wide receiver 3 after week 1.
I forgot about Keenan Allen,
Yeah,
who I want to talk about for a
yeah,
second.
incredible,
He's
right?
not. He had a great. I'm starting him this week.
Yeah,
This upcoming week, I'm starting Keenan Allen because why am I starting Keenan Allen? There's a reason. It is because of Jerry Judy, who he had a good game. He had an okay game. He had 11 points. That was against the Bengals defense. I don't want to start him against the Ravens defense, which
no,
is who they have this week.
I would agree.
So I'm ending up starting Keenan Allen and Deebo Samuel in my
I will
flexes.
say, Christian, I think this is the one year I took Ladd in. I think the 3rd or 4th round.
I think I'm in the second round, maybe third.
Second? No,
Lad went early in a lot of drafts.
I think I got him in the 3rd because I got JT.
Third
I got
sounds right.
JT in the 2nd. So
Right.
I got JT, and then I got Ladd in the 3rd. So I think this is the year where I think that everybody in the Chargers wide receiver room is going to benefit. I think Ladd's going to have a good year. I don't know if you agree. He had a phenomenal year last year. I think Ladd's going to do well. I think Keenan Allen's a little older. I think he's going to have a little dip, but I think he's going to be a serviceable flex.
But the thing with Keenan Allen is there's a lot of
Yes, a
familiarity there
lot
with
of
him and Justin
familiarity.
Herbert.
Yes, 100%. Who's next on your list?
I feel like this is someone on everybody's list. It's Hollywood Brown, and it when you have the chance to pick up a guy that has the potential to be a wide receiver 1 for half the season, you got to jump on that. That's really my only reasoning for that. If Worthy comes back, he'll still be a solid wide receiver 2 for the Chiefs.
And again, with just like before, I think Marquise Brown is a massive, probably the best sell high candidate that you can have right now.
Hmm.
After you get good production out of him for 4 weeks, he had Patrick Mahomes was literally only looking at him. 16 targets, 100 yards. He led the team in every single category. Wide receiver 9 after week 1. I think that is a recipe for for him to be absolutely fed.
Absolutely.
The next guy I want to talk about is Juwan Johnson. Now, I know there's a stigma around the Saints offense this year. However, if Spencer Rattler or whoever the hell is playing quarterback for them is going to look to throw to, it's going to be the guy that is the most reliable, and I think Juwan Johnson is that guy.
especially when Chris Olave gets hurt every
Every
week.
single like every
I
week, like
swear,
every
at
week,
least once every 2 or 3 weeks, I
every
see that
week.
Chris Olave is in concussion protocol.
Yes, and he needs to retire, but that's beside the point.
That's a whole other.
That's a whole other thing. In this week he led the team in targets with 11. 11 targets for a tight end
That's
is
insane.
ridiculous. The Spencer Rattler is looking for him. To add to that, he was the best tight end of the week. He's tight end 1 right now, and he's on waivers. Pick him up. Especially if you have Kittle and he got injured, pick him up. That is your direct replacement for the rest of the year.
I agree. Um, Next person I have on mind, I think you might have him too, Cedric Tillman,
Yep, that was my last one.
which also goes back to my whole Jerry Jeudy thing. Well, I'm not starting him. Cedric Tillman looked great.
Amazing.
Uh, I
He
mean,
had a phenomenal end to the year last year.
old man Joe Flacco looked good this week. Which Joe Flacco connects to someone else I have on here. I'm just going to combine the two Browns players. We got Harold Fanden Jr., who never heard of until yesterday, maybe. No, Sunday. Yeah, never heard of him till Sunday. He had 9 targets as a tight end. As you were just saying, that's a lot of targets for a tight end. And he looked great. Um, David Njoku owners should probably be a little scared right now. I didn't see this coming. This kind of happened out of nowhere.
If you're a David Njoku owner, pick him up though because he's a very good
Yeah,
tight end handcuff.
I agree. That we never really talk about tight end handcuffs.
You
It's
don't
something I've
because it's something that doesn't really happen.
never really seen that before. It's interesting though how this is going to play out this year. But yeah, him and Cedric Tillman. The Browns didn't look awful.
They didn't, surprisingly.
It was the Bengals defense.
Which
Get,
okay, I'm going to say something here. I don't think the Bengals defense did that bad. I think they
but
looked. Hold on. I think they looked better than they have in previous years. Not saying that they looked good. I'm saying comparable to other years, they looked better. But it's
then,
the Browns.
yeah, I was gonna say you could have the same argument the other way. It's the
Yes.
Browns. Um, the last guy I have on my list is once again someone that probably is rostered in more leagues than not. But if you see him out there, go pick him up, and it's Justin Fields. I know I picked him up this week because Dak Prescott did not impress me too much. And Justin Fields really impressed me.
Yeah. I think he blew the expectations that everybody had for him out of the water.
Yeah. Now,
He was phenomenal.
his point total is going to be a little skewed because he had 2 rushing touchdowns. But even if he gets you 18 points for Justin Fields, that's really good. That's a
That's
good
for
thing to
any
have.
quarterback. That's a pretty
Yeah.
serviceable number.
And I'm going to start Dak again this week just because it's the Giants, unfortunately. And Justin Fields is playing the Bills, so maybe we'll try him out the week after. Um, but I think Justin Fields is going to be a good pickup if you are able to get him in your league.
I agree. All right, before we cut it there, Dory, can you turn off the fan? I'm cold.
Bro, you're cold. I'm fucking sweating my balls
Well,
off.
my house is temperatured at like 70 degrees all the time, so
Ours is at 68 all the time,
damn.
or 69.
You all right?
But it gets
Um,
so much hotter. Like if you're in the basement, it's cold.
oh, I'm
But
on the first floor.
up here, it's so.
Yeah, everybody upstairs is hotter. That's why. All right. We'll buy low, sell high.
Yep, I gotta pull up my list. Yep, I'm locked. So now we're gonna go into our buy low, sell high segment. If you remember last year, we each have about 3 guys for each, and we're going to talk about maybe why you should buy or why you should trade
Good
someone
stuff.
away.
I will say this is my favorite part
I
of
know it
our
is.
show.
You're a big trade guy.
I'm a big trade guy. I think I put out I want to say 18 trades last year. So, something
Think you
like
put
crazy.
no. You got 18 trades accepted. You probably put
Yeah.
out at least 100
yeah.
trades.
I got 18 trades accepted. I probably put out around 30 or 40 trades.
I think more, but
No, not more. 30 or 40. I'm sending out 3 a week.
yeah, exactly.
But I just want to focus on this because you could have a great waiver wire week and you could have great matchups. If you don't look who is on the downward slope and who is on the upward slope, you are never winning a fantasy chip. You cannot assume that one player is going to have the same trajectory throughout the entire season. You can't. So, saying with that being said, I'm going to start with my buy low. Now, it's going to be hard to get this guy because he did go in the second or third rounds in a lot of leagues. I'm saying Nico Collins. I have Nico Collins on my list. He led all of Houston wide receivers in snap share with 84%. He was on the field basically every single snap, which is great. He commanded about 1/5 of that target share, so he had 20% target share, which is very good. That means 1/5 of the time, CJ Stroud is only looking in his direction.
He didn't catch the ball a lot though.
He didn't catch the ball, but and then to add to all of this, he has a very favorable schedule in the next.
Yes, that is true.
So if he's a buy, if because people freak out when they have their round 2 or 3 pick not performing even in week 1, people freak out. They want to get rid of him. Try to get him.
I agree. The first person I have on my list is someone who I have been very high on the whole offseason. Didn't have a good week. It's George Pickens.
Yep.
Um,
He just got cut from the list, but he was on my list too.
it's the Eagles. You got to give them a break. And I said Dak didn't look good. He looked good in the first half. He looked really good in the first half. I think halftime and then the rain delay. I think
it was the rain delay.
I would say take everything from this week from that game into like with a grain of salt. The rain delay probably messed everything up, but Pickens' point projection was just under 14 before week 1, and now he's projected 11.8. I don't think it should have been that much of a downswing. So buy him.
No,
If he
I love
plays,
George
and he
Pickens.
plays, and he plays the Giants this week.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Again, that's a very favorable matchup. But I, I, I'm a firm believer that having two good wide receivers on an offense is always better than one. I'm a firm believer in that. If you have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens routed up across each other, that's going to bring two CBs and two safeties to either one of them rather than two going to just CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah,
That's going to open up so much space on the other side of the field for George Pickens.
especially because George Pickens has been a wide receiver one his whole career, so teams are going to be scared of him.
Yeah, I agree. The next guy I have on my list is Calvin Ridley. He didn't have that great of a. His box score wasn't that good, but if you actually look at like the stats that he had, it was pretty impressive. He led the team in targets, which of course he's going to do. He's their only wide receiver.
With a rookie quarterback, he's going to target his wide receiver
one. He had a
one.
30% target share. That is 1/3. 1/3 of the time, Cam Ward is looking only at him. That is huge. That is huge. Cam Ward is going to develop over the season. That's a given. And they played the Broncos in week 1. That's probably the best defense in the NFL. You got to give him some slack. I think Calvin Ridley, he's a little bit older now. He's 30 years old. But he's the only wide receiver that Cam Ward has, and Cam Ward's going to develop, and it's going to pan out, especially come playoffs.
I agree. So I also have a Titan on my list. It's Tony Pollard, who had 18 attempts. I have not heard one person talk about Tony Pollard this week. He had 18 attempts for 60 yards, and I think he had one catch for 29 yards. So he had 7.9 points. But with a rookie quarterback, having their running back, I feel my friends and I were talking about this the other night with JJ McCarthy. We all bet.
Which, oh my God, what a performance.
What a comeback. But we had this conversation about JJ McCarthy because we all bet on Aaron Jones receptions. When a rookie quarterback gets pressure on him, he's going to throw a check down to his running back. And I think that's why Tony Pollard is such a good. Honestly, I might try to trade for him. I don't know yet. Because 18 attempts.
Can I have I'm going to say a running back that will back up your point. Last year, Austin Eckler on the Commanders. He was a reception merchant. He didn't run the ball a lot, but he was averaging 10 points a game solely off of Jayden Daniels getting pressure and checking down him. That happens all the time.
And, mind you, the Tennessee Titans game also had a weather delay, right? That game had the weather delay?
Yes. No.
Yeah. It was the Jaguars game.
It was the Jaguars game.
But nonetheless, playing in Denver is always a weird thing.
The
especially for
altitude.
a rookie quarterback, week
Yeah.
one's first ever NFL game. Um,
NHL's not here, bud.
almost. Um, but no, Tony Pollard, if he scored a touchdown, people would be saying start him next week because a touchdown would have put him at almost 14 points.
People judge the box score way too much. You need to look at snap count. You need to look at target share. You need to look at carries. You need to look at all these things that doesn't go into the box score that contribute to the player's success.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna start. Do you have any more for buy low? I don't have any
Yes,
more.
I have one more.
Okay.
And this is one of those guys, kind of like you said with Nico Collins, a guy that was drafted really high. Nobody's gonna probably want to trade him, but if you're able to get him, Omari and Hampton, who I thought looked really good.
He did look really good. This is another one with the box score.
His points did not show it, but I believe he had a lot of attempts. He had 15 attempts. Obviously, with Najee Harris there, it's going to be a little less, but 15 attempts with Najee Harris there, not bad. And he had 2 receptions on 2 targets. Justin Herbert's such a good quarterback. He's going to get receptions. Um,
This is the Madison Beer effect.
yeah, clearly. But yeah, if you're able to get Hampton, he kind of was like one at the bottom of my list. That was just like, um, if you can get him, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be looking to trade him just yet.
I'm gonna start sell high.
Yep. So this is my favorite part. I know you like the buy low and sell high. I love the sell high part.
Getting the best feeling in fantasy football is either trading for a player that you know is going to do good and then does good, or selling a player that you know is going to do bad and then does bad. It is the
Yep.
best feeling. But with that being said, I'm going to start off sell J.K. Dobbins this week if you can. It maybe next week. But
Honestly, I would sorry to cut you off, but I didn't even think to put him on my list. You're absolutely right.
he only played 50% of snaps. He only played 50% of snaps, and his rushing success was horrible. It was 31%. Only 1/3 of the time he actually had a successful run. And RJ Harvey looked incredible. He looked very, very, very good. His projection, and the reason why people aren't mentioning J.K. Dobbins is because his box score was good. He had a touchdown, and when he doesn't get those touchdowns, he's not getting any points. So please sell J.K. Dobbins while he still has some value, and get a serviceable flex running back for him because people will buy him off of projections.
Absolutely. You took exactly what I was gonna say. Um, but my first sell is a former Broncos running back in Javonte Williams, and I feel like a lot of people are thinking that Javonte is going to keep this up all year. Has
I hope not because I
anyone
have Jaden Blue, bro. I have
has
Jaden Blue.
anyone learned from the past experiences of having Javonte Williams on their team?
Nobody.
No, clearly not. He looked phenomenal,
He did. He
but
did.
but in a game where it rains and there's water on the ground, the quarterback does not throw. So I know he was doing great before the rain came, but still, it's just Javonte Williams is not. At least for now, he scares me because of past horrors that I've had, at least. Um,
He in my ever since I started watching football, he's always been a good runner that could never keep hold of the ball. His
Cobra.
main issue is fumbles. The second he starts regressing into that fumble, you know, I don't even like that fumble, like when he keeps
Yeah, I
fumbling the
know.
ball,
Yeah.
he's gonna get taken out because the Cowboys cannot afford that. So definitely that's a very good sell high.
Now, I
Uh,
will say the bright side to him is that he plays the Cowboys, who run the ball more than the Broncos did. But I just want to point out here, I'm looking at his stats right now. If he didn't have those 2 touchdowns, he would have had 8 points this week. Just saying. He would have 8 points. He had 15 attempts for 54 yards, and he had 2 receptions. That's not good for a running back.
that's not good.
That is
That is not
very
good.
touchdown dependent, and
Yes, and
you
you do
got to
not
trade
want that
those
from a
guys.
running back.
Yeah,
100%. This hurts me, my next guy,
no,
because after I was doing research, I did draft him in another league, and I know you liked him going into the offseason.
no.
James Conner.
No. I'm willing to give James Conner a
James
chance.
Conner, Trey Benson is looking so good. He's looking very, very. He's gonna. I Here's my take on James Conner. I
Okay.
don't think he's an outright sell. If you have him at RB2, I think he will get demoted down to like a flex-ish spot. Because Trey, it is looking more like the Lions last year, where they had a 1A and 1B.
Hmm.
I think James Conner is going to be like the touchdown, like the red zone guy, because his physique. But I think Trey Benson's going to turn into like the all downs
Yeah, I agree.
type running back. If if you don't have running backs, try to keep him. I will say wait until next week because they are
Hmm.
playing. They're playing the Cowboys or the Panthers. They're playing the Panthers, and they have a horrible run defense to begin with. So wait till next week, see how he does, and even if against a horrible run defense, if he's still regressing, then sell him.
So yeah, I completely agree. And the guy that I'm going to talk about also, I would say maybe wait a couple weeks.
This is the thing with week one. You can't say sell outright because you need to
Yes,
let them develop.
yes, and I'd say this one is one of those absolutely. And it's so on the last two players I have on here are Commanders players. First one being Debo. He had 10 targets.
That's not going to be replicated.
No, because Terry McLaurin missed a lot of training camp, almost all of training camp.
Almost all of training camp.
It's just going to take him a couple weeks to get back, I think, at least, to what he was last year. When that happens, Debo is going to be a one of those guys that you start when you have a bye week. I'm going to start him this week because I got nobody else to start unless I could maybe trade for Tony Pollard. Um, but yeah, Debo's not going to replicate what he has. 7 receptions, 77 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Um, oh no, I didn't win. I was going to say won me my week. At the time, I thought it won me my week. I thought it won me the week. At the time, I thought it won me
At
the
the
week.
time.
And then I went against Josh Allen, and DJ Moore happened.
You could
So
be
it's just
up by 100 billion points. You could face Josh Allen and you would still lose.
everything went wrong for me this week.
I want to point out I was up by 70 or 60 going into Sunday Night Football, and I ended up losing because
Who did
got
Colin have?
Lamar and Zay Flowers, who combined for I think 65 points or 60 points.
I didn't even know he had both of them. I knew he had
So yeah,
Lamar. Oh, yeah, so we both just kind of got, yeah,
we got screwed. That's all right.
yeah. So I'm just gonna go because I have another commander here, and that's Austin Eckler.
Really?
A
Okay.
lot of people drafted him thinking he was gonna be the RB1. To Corey Krusky Merritt looked like the RB1
Looked
to me.
phenomenal.
He looked
Phenomenal.
great. He is everything I dreamed he would be. I
Bill.
I I I couldn't have asked for anything better. Actually, I could have. Not against the Giants. That's all I could have asked for.
Yeah, it's rough out here.
Yeah, but Eckler, I honestly don't remember. I was watching the game. I don't remember much of Eckler, if I'm being
No,
completely honest.
I don't think he played that
He
much.
had
Me too.
6 attempts compared to Bill's, I want to say at least 11 or 12.
This
Bill
is
had
another
10.
thing with Eckler though. I still would keep him
Yeah,
on
he
your
has the
bench
receptions
because he's still always gonna he is a receiving
because
running back.
uh, Krusky Merritt only had 1 target and no catches. So obviously he's not going to be the receiving back. But when you average 8.2 yards per carry in your first career NFL game, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Again, it is against the Giants,
Yeah.
so take that with a
All
grain of
right.
salt.
So honestly, let's see how he does Thursday against the
Yeah,
Packers.
yeah,
Against Micah Parsons.
yeah. That'll probably be the true test.
Yeah.
If he still puts even remotely close to those numbers, he is a draft steal.
But then he
Steal.
also has Vegas and Atlanta after that. So
So it'll yeah.
we'll see. We'll have to see how it plays out. But I'm loving Bill right now. And I'd say Eckler could have some value right
I
now.
agree. We're gonna move on to our best week one matchups. I did one player for quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, so four in total. Um, I'm gonna
I don't
start
have
off
a.
with my,
I was say I don't have a tight end on here.
okay. I'm gonna start off with my QB pick. Um, if you started Brock Purdy, I'm sorry, he's out. um, so start Drake May this week against the Dolphins. Um, Drake May honestly looked pretty good in his first
Except
game.
he threw one interception,
That was like
a
pretty bad.
bad
Like that was a
interception.
bad interception. But
But if you watch the Dolphins game, good lord, we watched the whole Dolphins game. Obviously, Nick knows my roommate's a Dolphins fan, and then one of my other friends is a Colts fan, so that was fun. Um, but I watched that whole Dolphins game, and it was
it was
painful.
bad. It was bad. He he had um he threw the ball 46 times.
Drake May?
Drake May 46. So he had 30 completions. If I'm reading that right, yes, I am.
Yeah, that
He
sounds
threw
about
the ball
right.
46 times. That is a lot.
Yeah, I
That
have
is a
him
lot
in.
of times to be throwing the ball.
Yeah, I have him in the Dynasty League. I completely forgot about that. Yeah.
So, and the Dolphins, oh my God, they are a dumpster fire right now. So, honestly, I have two players that are playing against the Dolphins this week. I'm going to jump into that because
Yeah, go
Hunter
ahead.
Henry also playing against the Dolphins. If you need a replacement for George Kittle or anybody, just play Hunter Henry. He in the first 3 weeks of the season, Hunter Henry is the best tight end of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
from week 1 to 3, he's averaging like 15 points. I don't know what he got. I remember last year he was literally getting like 2 touchdowns a game last year.
Yeah, I remember that.
Um, let's see, he had 11 points.
Which for
Uh,
a middle level tight end
for
like
a
that,
mid, he had 8 targets. Again, this is a lot of
Jesus.
targets for a tight end. So
But you also have to take into account that Drake May threw the ball 46 times or
46
however
times, which
many
is
times it
probably
was.
not
Yeah.
going to be replicated again.
Maybe against the Dolphins,
Maybe against the Dolphins. Well, if it's a blowout, they're going to run the ball.
which goes into Travion Henderson, who you could also did not have a good week, but started him against the Dolphins. Um, the first player I have on my list is I might just be saying this as a coping mechanism because I'm starting him this week, but it's Dak Prescott against the Giants. The Giants didn't look good. I hate saying it. The
I
Giants,
hate the hype every single season. Jackson Dart
well,
looked like
okay,
my dog. No, no, no,
hang
hold
on,
on.
hang
They
on.
looked like they looked like they had so much chemistry, so much like
He hasn't
just
even played yet,
vibes.
though.
He hasn't played yet, that's true. But Russell Wilson looked horrible.
God, he looked awful. But he did not throw an interception.
He
Just
did
want to
not.
point that
He
out.
did not. But we did only get 6 points, so there's a
He looked better than Tua.
well, Tua is probably on every
Yeah,
anti-concussion
yeah.
whatever.
But Dak, good start. The Giants lost Micah McFadden. I hate to say the word again, unfortunately. I love me some Micah McFadden. I was so upset. But no, honestly, the Giants defense did not look bad. But with Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, yes, because it clearly towards the end of the game caused an issue with Terry and Debo.
I think they got tired.
Yes, because for the middle portion of the game, the Giants defense did not look bad. Yeah. So I'm gonna go on to my next because before we turn this into a Giants podcast, I'm gonna go on to my next matchup is it's two guys combined. It is Travis Etienne and Travis Hunter because they're playing the Bengals. Um, and Etienne looked phenomenal as we talked about before. Travis Hunter could have been
Looked
better.
okay. Okay.
Could have been better. Once
He did
again,
play on both sides of the ball, though.
yes. And there's a weather delay, and the Bengals defense. I mean, they let a tight end get 10 targets. I think it's gonna be a good week if you have any of these Jaguars players on your team,
Uh,
especially Etienne or Hunter.
I agree. I agree. For my running back, I'm going James Conner against the Carolina Panthers. I know we just spoke about him, but this is why I said on my sell high to wait this week, see how he
Hmm.
does. Carolina Panthers have one of the worst run defenses in the league. They looked bad on
Yeah,
Sunday. They just looked like a bad team.
yeah,
It, James Conner can definitely exploit that, so I would start him. Uh, my wide receiver is Ricky Pearsall against the
loved Ricky
Saints.
Pearsall.
I think he is also going to be one steal of the draft. I think he's going to be incredibly good this year. Uh, reason why is because they're playing the Saints, and the Saints are the Saints.
Yep, that's the
They
perfect way
are
to describe it.
probably if they are probably going to get like 2 wins this year, and I will be so unsurprised.
Yeah.
You
So
combine a good wide
yeah,
receiver with a horrible defense, he's going to get points. So start him.
Yeah, and that perfectly flows into my last pick here is Christian McCaffrey. He looked phenomenal this week,
Phenomenal, phenomenal. He
and
looked like he wasn't injured at all.
and he's playing the Saints.
Yep.
But he looked so good. He was almost even with his rushing and receiving stats. So I didn't check after the game, but the last time I checked during the game, he had 60 receiving yards and 70 rushing yards.
Let's see. He had 69 rushing yards and 73 receiving
Yep,
yards. Very
exactly.
close.
Yes. So so I guess I checked towards the end of the game.
My
But
God, he had 9 receptions.
Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL when he's healthy, and there's nobody that can change my mind. No, it's the same thing as me saying I think so he's not always going to be the flashiest. He's not going to get all the awards, but he is the best running back in the NFL. And as controversial as this may be, I think the same thing about Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the NFL.
Oh,
I until Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow wins a Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow doesn't even have an MVP yet.
Yet.
He's my pick this year. But yeah, I think that was it for my list. Yeah, anything else?
That was it for my list, yeah. Thank you
So
guys for joining us this week. This was a great week one. I'm very
I
excited for this season.
I was so happy this is back. This is one of the most excited I've ever been making a notes list on my phone in a long
I
time.
would agree. I was giddy all day. I was like, oh, I love doing this.
I got my list on my phone. I was so happy. Yeah, I can't wait for a good season. Hopefully, me and you have better seasons than we had last year. Even though you went 13 and
Hopefully.
1, even though you went 13 and 1 last year,
Hey, 14 and 0. 14 and 0. That's what we're aiming
that's what
for.
you're aiming for. I'm aiming
That's
to
what
not
we're
win. I'm aiming to win at least 3 games, which is what I had last year. So
bounce back year. Bounce
bounce
back year.
back year. But yeah, so for now, that's it for the Beyond the Bench podcast for this week. We will be back with our week 2 recap next Thursday before the game. Yes.
Thank you guys for watching and listening. Have a good week.
See ya.